Welcome back. It is the end of May. We're in June now, and welcome to
hmm
the Mo WIFF 3 Up, 3 Down podcast. I'm your host, Cam Smith, and I'm joined by Rank. Rory, how you doing, man?
Doing great, man. May's down, end of June, like you said, so moving right along.
Yeah, crazy how fast this kind of season's really kind of flying by already, even though we had a very slow start with a bunch of rain and um, felt like a lot of teams weren't playing, and now we're kind of cooking. Everybody's got at least 5 games under their belt. A lot different from the last time we talked. How's it feel
Yeah.
to actually get on the field and play a couple games?
Yeah, like you said, we've finally been able to play a few. Us and the Melon Heads, last time we talked, had only played one game.
Yeah.
So we actually were playing that next week after our last pod, and unfortunately we only got one more game in at
I
that
know.
point.
Yeah, one game there, one game last week, but you did have 2 games
Yes.
sprinkled in the middle there, so not too bad. Um, but teams are fine. We're like halfway. I mean, mo some teams are about halfway through the season, some aren't. But we're getting to that halfway point. We're coming up on week 9 of 17. So, um, yeah, pretty much just flying by. We'll kind of do the same thing as we did in our last pod. We'll go through each division for our first 2 segments. So we'll go through in the American League and then the National League, and then we're gonna go into some award watch. I feel like every year we never really have any kind of um award watch where people are looking at for who's kind of in the driver's seats for those awards. Obviously, things can change only halfway through the season, but good to get those guys some recognition for the good start that they've all had. So that'll be fun to get
Oh, yeah.
into.
Yeah, there's some surprises on the list too. Some people
Absolutely.
that we weren't talking about before, but we will be today.
Absolutely. We'll get into all of that stuff and let's go ahead and we'll start it right now. We'll start with the American League. Let's go through the standings here real quick, updated uh as of last week where everybody played, which was a great week. Always love when everybody gets together for one. I mean, I know it sucks when I'm playing one game a night, but the camaraderie there is awesome. We got as many people as we could that were there at the time to take that group picture. That'll probably get posted out, probably next couple of days, maybe even today if you're listening. Um, so that was fun, but yeah, after a great week, we sit in the American League. The Mojo sit at the top at 5-1. They have 10 points. You guys, the Archers, are right behind them, 4-1 with only 8 points. The Mambas are 4-4, but they do have 10 points as well. So the higher points than you guys, but with 3 more games, they have 3 more losses. So
Right.
tough one there. Um, and then the Kings, the Red Hot Kings, coming in at 3-5 at 6 points, but they are making a surge to try to sneak into these playoffs here after a slow start. We'll get to them here shortly though. But Roy, let's start at the top. Let's start with the Mojo. Only played one game this month. Um,
Yeah.
and it was a big one this last week when everybody played a walk-off winner against the Mambas in a game that I personally thought was over in that last inning.
Yeah.
What did you think going into it?
Yeah, I had a chance to watch that game the other day on our YouTube channel, and what a finish, man! What an ending! I'm with you. I thought the Mambas had it wrapped up. I thought there was going to be an upset,
Yeah,
and man, big triple by Sam Skibby to keep the mojo on top, man. Because the Mambas, that would have been a great win for them. I mean, that would
would have
have
been
really set
huge.
a different tone.
If that happens, it's the Mambas would be in the lead in points. The Mojo would be tied in points with you guys, but they would be, a lower winning percentage than you guys. That changes
Right.
a lot for the Mojo. Uh, not having Gus, not having Connor.
Exactly.
Uh, Sam's on the mound, and not that Sam pitched a bad game at all, but Cole got to him late in that game with 2 home runs, and
Yep.
but then you saw all of them battle back in that last inning at the plate. Um, they drew a bunch of walks. Dutton kind of lost the strike zone there. Cole had to come in. He loses the strike zone, and then just Sam gets that game-winning RBI triple, 3-run triple. So like, uh,
Yeah.
tough for the Mambas, but for the Mojo. after a couple of weeks, almost a month off, basically, to come in and to get that win. I know Doug is got to be very happy about that one. Keeps them in
Yeah.
at the number one spot in the power rankings. Um, it was a tough choice. We could easily put you guys there. Um, but coming off recency bias, they get that big win. You guys lose a nail
Yes.
biter. Um,
Yep.
but but wow, what a start for the Mojo. 5-1. Again, they had a hot start last year. What's been your biggest takeaway from the Mojo so far this season? I mean, obviously only one game this month, but so far.
Yeah, I mean, the run differential, I think, is the biggest takeaway. They're plus 24, so they're hitting the crap out of the ball and not giving up a whole lot of runs.
The next
And
closest is plus 13.
plus 13. Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway, and we're going to talk a little bit later too on this, but Sam Skibby's having a heck of a year at the plate, but
Yeah.
that shut down Mojo staff, pitching staff that they have.
Yeah.
You know, you're right though, that you got to catch them when you can get them, and unfortunately the Mambas kind of let that one slip away a little bit, you know.
Yeah, especially having Dutton on the mound there too. You think when Cole hits two home runs in that inning, you think that game's
Yeah,
over.
right. Yep. And we're seeing this more. I mean, these close games, uh, it's bearing out more where walks are really going to kill you.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
we're seeing that happening a lot. It happened to me. It's happened to, other teams, and
Yeah.
walks, they will get you. They will get you.
I've learned my lesson. I know back when I first started playing like national tournaments fast pitch, I was walk or a strikeout. It wasn't a lot of hits off me, but I threw hard and I struck a lot of people out, but I could not hit the strike zone.
And
But
yeah,
in a tournament where walks are only one base, I could afford to walk three guys and then
correct.
get three
Correct.
strikeouts in the inning. Here we can't, you can't do that, with the
Yeah.
double walk, it makes it a lot tougher. So, but hats off to a
Yep.
lot of pitchers in this league, which, I'm sure we'll get to later,
Yep.
but it is tough. You got to do that to win games. Let's talk about you guys. The Archers finally got, 4 games under your belt after one game last month. How did the team feel finally getting out and playing some games, and how are you as the manager feeling about your squad?
Well, I feel great about the Archers. I love this team. We've been running with the core four, and so far, it's been exactly what I want. We're getting Jordan a lot of looks. I'm getting a lot of looks. Um, Tony's had some good at bats, and Jay Rich as well. So I love that what we're doing. Unfortunately, last week we kind of let that game get away from us, and Tony suffered his first loss of his career. And I'm gonna wear that as a
13,
yeah,
13-0 to start his regular
yeah,
season career and
yeah.
to finally get a loss. That was very, very impressive.
That's impressive. Like I said, as a manager, though, I really wanted to take him out, and I came out to him. I said, "Hey, listen, nothing hurt here. We'll get this accomplished." But Tony's a competitor, man, and
Yeah. Love that though.
yeah, you gotta love that. And it got away from us, but hey, we get them 2 times tonight. So when this podcast comes out, it'll be tonight. So
Yeah.
we're ready. We're ready for some revenge already.
Yeah, I know sometimes it sucks, when you have 3 straight games against a divisional opponent or even the same opponent, but um I had to do it in my division games, but all three. Like I played the Thunderbirds 3 times, and then I played the Melonheads 3 times,
Right.
and then at the end I played the Purge 3 times. I think there's some sprinkled in, but my last 3 games have all been against the Melonheads, so like that does suck. But also at the same time, like you're seeing guys more, so it is could
Yes.
make for some more electric games. You've seen the pictures a couple times, but yeah, you guys have looked really good,
Yeah.
and
Appreciate it.
Jordan has only thrown let's see, 10 innings, the
Correct.
second most on your team behind Tony. But the pitching staff has looked really, really good. You guys have only given up 4 runs
Right.
in your 5 games. That's pretty impressive right there. And all 4 of them came in the last game,
In
right?
one game. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I'm finally playing a full season fully healthy. I've
Yeah.
My first year I tore my UCL in my arm. Last year I was coming off of that surgery, and then I had a hernia surgery. So it's like I'm finally healthy and I'm able to swing the bat, no problems. I'm able to pitch. I'm excited for myself because it's like I'm back.
Hey,
I'm back.
You're only hitting 273. Come on now.
Yeah, that's not bad, right? That's not bad.
Yeah,
All ground balls,
pretty,
but no, it
pretty good, pretty good.
not too bad. I'll take it. I'll take it for where I'm at.
No, absolutely. I would too. I'm in the gutter right now. So I would take that for sure. Um yeah, man, it's just been exciting. I think this is awesome. I mean, I really feel like a lot of pressure has been taken off of Jordan, and I think that's going to do big things for you guys, especially down the stretch.
Yeah,
Big question for you. Are we getting a return of Ethan Bailey this week? I saw he was in St. Louis.
he is returning back to Ethan
Let's
time on the
let's
Archers. We're excited.
go.
Let's go, Ethan.
Highest career average all time in Mo
That's
Wiff.
right.
Obviously doesn't have a ton of games, but um
Yep.
love to see. Does that change your guys' lineup at all? You gonna go five? You gonna stick with four and try to mix him in? What's kind of the plan there for Ethan?
We will have to wait and find out.
All right, I love it. I just trying to get a little inside information, but I like it. I like it.
Yep.
But
Have to see.
excited to have Ethan back. Maybe even get to see him on the mound too, because hey, you can keep saving Jordan. That's
That's right.
always a positive. So, um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, good start to your team. I will say one of my biggest surprises, it has been Tony at the plate. Struggling a little bit. Um, which is, I mean, not everybody kind of struggles in this league every once in a while. I mean, it's tough, especially the pitchers that we're seeing. Um, Tony finally got his first hit in that last game, though. Um, do you think there's anything to that? Do you think he's just trying to do too much now that he's got like a lot of guys around him and wants to be that big time star?
Yeah, I don't know. I looked up that stat too, and I see what you're talking about. And here's the thing I'll say is he's been really focused on his pitching.
Yeah,
And
it's
and I
working.
told him, I said, hey man, just focus on pitching. I don't know where we're gonna go from here. Obviously his velocity dropped in the last game, so we're gonna see what we have with that. But he's gonna take a little time to just focus on his hitting now. So we'll see
There you
how it
go.
goes. But Tony, here's the deal. He can change the game with one swing of the bat, and that's not changed.
Absolutely could.
So we're
That's
still
not
all
a
right.
guy you want to just take lightly just because he's 1 for 25 doesn't mean he can't go, you know, 4 for 5 in his next game with a couple home runs. So don't
Correct.
want to let up there just because the stats show it. That's one guy that, I look at the stats and I'm like,
Right.
yeah, he's struggling, but I'm not I'm not really gonna give him a cookie here. So
That's correct. That is correct.
love to see it though. All right, let's move on to the Archers. Or sorry, you guys are the Archers, the
Yep.
Mambas, and coming off a tough loss, like we had talked about.
Hmm.
Um, I had a lot of high hopes for Dutton at the and the Mambas in general at the start of the season. I was very high on them, and I feel like it's right as of right now, it's almost like the same story as every other year. They're right there,
Yep.
but they just can't get over that hump. They keep running into late game troubles. That was their problem before. It's becoming a problem again now. It's always that last
Yes.
inning. You have to finish these games out. Um, they were missing Ryan O'Rear in their last game, so maybe that
That's a big miss. Yeah.
also, kind of hurt him not only at the plate, he is leading the league in average.
Yep.
Doesn't have any home runs now, which is
I
weird,
know.
but
It's
he
a good
is getting
stat.
he's hitting the ball and then also not having him on the mound there. Cole has to come in, which Cole's been throwing well, but
Yeah.
um unfortunate for Cole, he's just in that situation again and is not able to come through. Um it's almost just like how many times can that like keep happening until it goes the other way? I'm just waiting for it to happen. I thought it was going to happen
Correct.
this week, and it didn't. Uh, but they're still a good team. I mean, they still have 10 points. They're still sitting very good and getting into a
Correct.
playoff spot. They can bounce back. Um, do you think there's anything in particular that they need to do to, you know, instead of stick at a 500, 4-4 record right now, but what do you kind of think that edge to get them over the hump is?
Man, I don't know. That's a great question. They're +4 run differential, so they're winning that. But at the end of the day, man, it's just got to finish the game. Just got to finish and close these teams out. And it's been the Mambas story since I've been in the league is tragedy always strikes at some point. during the game, and it's just simple things. Even the game they played opening day against us, Dutton took them all the way to the
Yeah, the home run derby.
the home run derby, and so they got that point. But like that could have went either way. Alex
Hmm.
Ager still probably the play of the year so far, in my
Yeah,
opinion. Uh, you think, man, that just is the dagger, and they still ended up losing. But Mamas are a good team. You can't take them lightly. Not having Ryan O'Rear that night they had the loss against the Mojo probably would have went a little bit different.
yeah,
O'Rear hits well, hits Skibby well, and anything can happen for the Mambas. And
yeah,
it just, like you said, flip a coin and it's tails every time for these guys.
yeah. I mean, a couple of guys, struggling in their lineup, but um, their lineup has still been good. They've scored 27 runs, which is
Yeah,
second most in the league,
right.
and they have two guys batting under 100 that are full time in their lineup, and one guy hitting under 200. But the other three guys are raking, and their pitching is keeping them in games. But it's you know when can they get those clutch hits and then that
Yeah,
lockdown pitching? That pitching's got to come through. And I'll tell you my biggest
correct.
surprise from this team so far, and one of my biggest surprises of the season so far is normally they struggle to finish games. And the one guy that in the past that has been on the pitching end of a lot of those failures at the end of games is Ryan O'Rear.
Correct.
He's 3-0 on the mound
3
this year
0. That's right. I was just
with
say
a 4.41 ERA, which is wild.
wild.
But second most wins in the league. Hey, a win is a
Yes.
win, and he's 3-0, and I don't care,
Yes.
what the ERA says. I'll take a win over,
All
my
day.
low ERA anytime. So anytime you have
Yes.
three, you're 3-0, that's a mighty fine stat to have. So
Yep. I
uh,
agree with that.
maybe they just need to throw him out there more. Who knows? But we'll see. Hopefully he's back tomorrow. They got the Melonheads. Or yeah,
Ooh,
the Melonheads tonight. So
Mama's melon heads.
should be a good series to kick off our night. That'll be a fun one. Jason versus Cole, love that. A lot of good hitters in that game, so stay tuned for that one.
Oh, yeah. That'll be a good one.
All right, let's talk about the Kings because going into this month, they were 1-4, I believe.
Um, yeah.
I believe they were
Yes.
1-4 going into going into the month. Not since then they're 2-1. They had
There's a reason for that.
a good last three games, and the biggest reason. Go ahead, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah. His name's Justin Hall.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm,
He
I'm just
has
double.
been he has been phenomenal. Uh, 3-1 now on the mound with a 1.42 ERA. Striking out a lot of guys, throwing a lot of strikes. That loss that he had early in the season, you saw he walked a lot of guys. Couldn't hit the strike zone. Since that loss, he has been dialed in. I'm gonna look this up. Uh, let's see. Yeah, he lost his first start, gave up 4 runs, only 2 hits, but he had 6 walks. Since then he's 3-0. He beat the Mojo, the
Yes.
Mambas, and the
Yes.
Archers.
And us.
Pretty damn good. I
Yes.
mean, I love to see it. Super proud of Justin to bounce back after a tough first start. Um, where he only went an inning and 2/3, but what a big bounce back 3 games for Justin Hall. Do you see this continuing? What's kind of your thoughts after seeing him last week?
Well, I have to say no because I face him now. I face him
Yeah,
tonight. So I'm
there
gonna
you
say
go.
no, but yeah, no. Here's what I hear. This is for real. I think he was overthrown a little bit, and
Yeah,
now
he
Justin
said
Paul
that.
has. Oh, he said that perfect
Hmm.
because now he's found the zone and
Yeah.
he's got the confidence and he's pitching really well. He's not walking. He's eliminated those walks like we talked about, and um, you know, he didn't strike me out last time I played against him, but he threw some great pitches that might as well struck me out because I'm nibbling and hitting little dribblers back to people. I see him well, but that doesn't mean that I hit him well.
Yeah.
and he's just getting it done. He mixes it up well. But yeah, my plan is to ruin that parade now tonight. But if he gets it done, so be it. He's pitching great, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't it wouldn't surprise me.
It's been really fun to see. And one thing I love about this team, I love that their camaraderie, their like
Hmm.
cohesiveness as a group has been unmatched. A lot of these guys grew up together. That core three of their
Yep.
um that made up this team to start with Bone, Hitchcock and Keller. And then you have two good friends in Hall and Wilson. But it just when, especially when they're winning these games and they're even in the close games, you can tell, especially with Darren there and Ken,
Yeah.
um, they're having a lot of fun and they're in all of these games and they're having a blast and I'm loving it. And um, I gotta, I gotta hats off to Nick Bone, because he's been a force at the plate this year.
Yes,
Um,
he has.
7 hits, which is tied for most in the league. He's got two
Yep.
home runs, only 3 RBI with, you know, 7 hits, 2 home runs, which most tied for most hits in the league. And
Right.
I think the leader only has 4 home runs, so he's half of that, but he's only got 3 RBIs. Kings,
Right.
get on base for your
Get on
captain
base for
there. But the thing is
him.
also he's getting on base at the top of that lineup. And then you have
Yeah,
you have Keller who that guy, I'll tell you right now, he when he gets a hold of one, man, it's fun to watch that ball jump off his bat.
it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Keller's quickly becoming the guy that can hurt you real fast. I mean, he lived up to that in the draft, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying the scouting report was that in the draft, and he's
Yep.
living up to the hype. And
Absolutely.
also, I want to shout out Wilson.
Yeah.
He got a couple of hits against us. He hit the ball against me. I mean, it seems like he's just always putting the ball into play.
Yeah,
And
and
he had that big home run the other
he's come up
couple
in
games
two
back.
really big moments. The
Yeah,
first one being the grand slam and extra innings off of
that's
Dutton,
right.
which
Yeah,
not a lot of people take Dutton deep, and an extra inning grand slam, you know, that was huge for them. Really got them that momentum to finish that
huge.
game out. Um, and then he got a single off of you guys, which was huge in that game because that run ended up
Yeah.
coming in to score. That played in
Yes.
that big inning for them. So, two big hits. I mean, obviously there's only 2 hits so far, but like two big ones. It's timely hitting. That's how you win games. Uh,
Right.
you know, the surprise, is Hitchcock and Hall are
Yep.
hitless right now.
Still
Um,
looking.
if they can get, one or both of those guys going, they're going to be even better. Um, Hitchcock, I know we saw a lot of good things last year, um, and I know he's good enough to bounce back from a slow start.
For
And
sure.
Hall can't too. I know Hall's put a couple good at bats together. I know. Let's see. Hall's got 7 walks. I mean, that's that's pretty good. I mean, Nick
Right.
Bone's only been on base 9 times, and Hall's been on 7. Yeah, it's not on hits, but he's still getting on
Right.
base. Leading the team there, almost double the second guy on their team in walks. So, still getting on base. So you can't be too mad about it. But I've seen him make contact, and when he makes contact, the ball can really jump off his
Oh yeah.
bat. So
Yeah.
this team's definitely got it all there. They just, they need to start piecing it all together instead of
Yeah.
here and here and here. If they all start coming together and Hall keeps pitching the way he does, yeah, they're gonna be fighting for a playoff spot for sure. And it's gonna be hard to take it away from them.
Yeah, I think the Kings saw that they were ranked dead last to begin the year, and I think they took that personal. So they
Nick
don't.
Nick wanted them to take it personal,
That's right,
and I
exactly.
love
And
that.
there's fight in every game they're playing. So we're very aware of that. We really want to win tomorrow night because the Kings are in our division. But if the Kings can keep stealing these games, just like you said, they're never going to be out of those playoffs until the
Yeah.
very end or make the playoffs.
Yeah, the fact that they beat 3 of those teams, the 3 teams that they've beaten, they can beat anybody. I
That's
mean,
correct.
and all 3 division games.
Yeah, it's big,
Wow,
big
I
for
didn't
them.
even put that together yet. Wow,
Yeah,
that's impressive. I mean,
yeah,
to do that again, and while we're talking about the American League here, I don't think it's a surprise that, as of right now, this is the tougher division. Um, all four of these teams right now, it's a dogfight. Who's going to win the division? Obviously, all four teams can still make the playoffs with that wild card spot, but um, it'll
Okay.
be interesting. It'll be interesting to
Yeah.
see how it all breaks down. Excited to see now you guys, get a couple more games. See what happens now with you guys in the mojo for that standing spot. So it'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun rest of the way.
It's a good little piece of info. Mambas still have to play the Mojo. Archers still have to play the Mojo twice. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to be written in this division
Hey, everybody else is saying just keep beating up on on
on
you guys
each
just
other.
keep beating up on each other and maybe one of us from the other side will sneak in past you for that one seed, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right. Um, let's switch over and we're going to talk about the National League. All right, Rory. National League time. Let's start with the standings.
Okay.
Still a surprise, but maybe not a surprise anymore. The Thunderbirds remain at the top, 5-3 record with 11 points. Then you got the Bombers at 4-4 with 9 points. The Purge at 3-7 with 7 points, and then the Melonheads 1-4 with 2 points. Let's start at the top.
Okay.
Let's talk some Thunderbirds wiffle ball because at the beginning of the season, I'm pretty sure most people, if not everyone, had them ranked as the seventh team on the power rankings out of everyone.
Right.
They have climbed all the way up to, I believe, four on the power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
So, a pretty good start to the first half of their season. 8 games in out of their 17, so almost halfway. Is that right? Yeah,
Well,
almost.
yeah,
And
almost
they're
halfway.
about halfway because
Yeah, they're close. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, are you surprised that they're still in first place?
No, I'm not surprised because I mean they're a good team, man. That's the
Yeah,
thing is Andrew's playing great. But I mean we're gonna mention him at some point, so it might as well be now. But they have found themselves something in old Dominic Sitrowski.
yeah.
And
Not even not even a first round pick.
yeah, I know. Well, I was almost on an archer, two
Yeah,
beers away from being an archer. So
close.
he is unfortunately a T-bird. But no,
Yeah,
I mean the real talk is Andrew Nichols playing like Andrew Nichols and doing well. But they are
yeah.
beating people at the right time and they're playing good wiffle ball. They're getting some timely hitting. Mark Voller launched one in their last game to give them the win. And the
That was
T-Birds
huge.
are playing exactly they are who we thought they were, which are competitive wiffle ball players, and they're playing as such.
I did have the prediction that they would make the playoffs. Uh,
That's right. Yeah.
going into the season before the season started, I said they were my sleeper pick to make the playoffs. Didn't expect this.
Right.
Uh, in my thought process was Andrew's going to carry this team with his pitching, and a lot of his bat, and they'll put some other pieces together, and sort of correct. I mean,
Right.
Andrew's 2-2 on the mound. Uh, Dominic's 2-0.
Right.
And Spencer Foss is 0-1, but a really good first outing from him. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, this team it looks really good. Sitting in first place. They're a game over us, but it's really a game and a half because they have the tiebreaker over us.
Right.
Um, So they gotta be sitting pretty comfy right now. Obviously, you can't take your foot off the gas at any time this season. Um, but you know, looking at their lineup, Andrew has struggled at the plate for a little bit this year compared to what he normally does, but then broke out last week, with a couple hits and
Right.
started started hitting the ball out of really hard. As his first couple hits, they weren't very hard hit, but like this week, it looked like, oh shoot, Andrew's back at the plate.
He's
That's
back. Yeah,
dangerous. And then you get Mark running into one. Uh, a lot of people forget Mark's a former All-Star, and he's got
right.
that pop. And we saw it. And that was a tough, close game, a 0-0 game when both pitchers were dealing. And Mark just jumped on the first pitch and
Yeah.
I think it was the fifth inning. Was that the fifth inning?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
top
Yeah.
top of the fifth. I mean that's what this team needs. For me personally, Spencer's struggling a little bit, but he's rookie. We expected that.
Right.
Didn't expect Dom to hit how he's hitting. Um,
Man.
Josh is still hitting pretty well. Um, Mark struggles, but Mark's starting to get back on track, seeing it well after he was hurt at the beginning of the year, so we expected a slow start from him.
Right.
One guy that I am surprised though is John Willenbrink. If he can get rolling, and we've seen him do it before, he was an all-star like 2 years ago, his first season.
Correct.
If they can get him back to doing that, then this lineup is truly complete, and it's scary up and down. I've had to face him twice already this year, so I know how tough that is. Um, but if there's a key to them remaining in first place from the rest of the season, what do you think it is?
Dominic staying dominant. Um, you know, here we all saw the scout report on Satrowski, and I'll be honest, like I didn't see anything pitching wise that really stood out to me, and I think that kind of is what every team saw. But that kid throws way harder than anyone realized, with a lot
Yeah,
of zip and a
yeah.
lot of action. And then that 3 home run game he put on, that was a display. That was disgusting
The
to
dime bomb.
watch. The dom bombs. I mean, just ripping,
It
ripping.
was it was so much. I mean, it sucked being on the other side of it. But it was fun to watch. The crowd was so into it, and
Right,
chanting "Dom bomb, boom!"
right.
And it was like, oh my God, it was all like
I think
I love watching the video. I didn't even move. I just
I
stood
know
on
you.
third
I
base.
watched you not move. I actually watched it on the third
Uh,
one, and Tony Saggio did a great job calling that game. It was,
yeah.
you could feel the excitement, you can feel the anticipation of what is likely to happen, and of course, then it does. But
Yeah, he's really brought a lot of excitement to this team. And it's been fun to watch. I'm very, very impressed. But yeah, I think, if he can continue doing that, um, then they're going to be in a good position. Also Andrew, he has two losses, but uh, he's got an 0.64 ERA. He's got an ERA
right,
under one, and he's got two losses. He's only given up three earned runs, 3 runs
correct,
total, not even like 3 runs total, and he's got two
correct.
losses. One was an extra inning, bases loaded walk, bummer.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's a
and then the
bummer.
other one, well, he gave up a 2-run homer
Yes.
I think it was to Ethan or Tom. No, Tommy. I don't remember.
Um,
It was one
was
of the two.
was it to the purge
No, it's
or
to us. It was either
oh to
Tommy or
you? Oh
Ethan.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, right. Okay,
So
yeah,
two mistakes, but Andrew's having a really solid pitching season, to go right along with them. Uh they could easily be
that's
six
right.
and one right now. Easily.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
two pitches away from being 6-1.
I'll tell you one thing too. Don't sleep on Josh Rogers, who's had 3 home runs, and if he just even gets that 1 home run and you guys and the Thunderbirds win 1-0, that could be all it takes to keep that team in a 10+ win season. It's totally possible.
Yeah, it is exciting, especially if Josh can keep doing what he did last year and keep hitting home runs like that. That'd be pretty impressive for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had
So
two home runs against us. One of them 55 and under, but hey, home run's a home
correct,
run, right?
correct. The game I was thinking about was the Purge versus Thunderbirds, and they did end up losing that game. And Andrew pitched great, and I guess it was probably home run derby. But Andrew, he
The
pitched
loss
5 innings, and he had 16 strikeouts, and he ended up taking the loss there.
that was he walked a guy in extras
That was against Birch.
against
Okay,
yeah, that one was
okay,
against
gotcha,
Purge. Yeah. And
gotcha.
then because then they ended up getting back at the Purge
Right then, yeah,
again this last week, with the Mark home run. So um
gotcha.
yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see if they can remain on top. And it'll be fun going the rest of the way. If Andrew's arm can hold up and he can, maybe he can
Yep,
rely on these other two pitchers to kind of, give him a break if he needs it.
right.
Um, I know Andrew's the kind of guy that just goes out there and throws.
Just gonna keep throwing, 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 throwing.
uh,
Yep,
but we'll see. I think it'll be fun. It'll be a close race, but right now, hey, they're in first place and they're in first place for a reason. So
that's right.
congrats to them. Um, all right, second
Only
place. Oh, go ahead,
only
go ahead.
team with a plus run differential in the division, by the way. Only team.
Dang. Yeah,
13 plus 13 run differential. Everybody else negative.
-6, -9, -13. That's impressive.
Hmm.
Good call out on the stat there. I like that.
All
Um,
right.
and they're tied with the best winning streak in all of the league. Them and the Mojo are only at two, but no one else has more than one. So,
Nope.
uh, all right, let's jump over to the second place Bombers right now. 4-4, 9 points. Um,
Yep.
I like what do you how do you think from a
Oh,
viewer standpoint, how does it look from the outside looking into the Bombers team?
that's right. I'll be asking the questions for this one.
There you go.
It looks pretty good. Bombers are 4-4. Here's the stat line. Cam Smith has 4 wins. He's accounted for all the Bombers' wins. So I think the story is who's the Bombers' second pitcher?
It's a good question.
That's
Um,
right.
you know,
Somebody's got to step up for you.
going into the season, we knew it was going to be a battle between Sam Gildahouse and Johnny Gunn. Sam has struggled to find the strike zone, um, but we're working. We're throwing bullpens. Um, we're working at the field. We're we're close. We're getting there.
Good.
Sam's gonna be just fine. He's been so close, even in some of these games where he's let the walks get away from him. I mean, he only has 10 walks. But it's in 3 and a third inning. uh, but and then he said to throw some 55 and under or 5,600 pitches that
Right.
obviously changes things too. So more than the 10 walks, but 10 walks on paper. Um, but we're working. He's getting there. He's going to get another opportunity at some point this year to get that back. But the good news for us is that Johnny's coming back. Um,
Okay, good. That's
Johnny
what I
was
was
hurt.
wondering.
Um, he like tore a muscle in his hip,
Oh man.
and so he was sidelined for a couple of weeks. But luckily, we had a couple of weeks off. Doctors gave him a full clear. That's why he was in the field last week. I told him you're still not swinging, and I was like, you're still not pitching yet. Um, but eventually, you will get, you know, our next probably our next series. He'll get a start. He's looked really good in NWA, and I'm excited to get him out here and give him an opportunity to see what he can do on the mound because I know he's a good pitcher. He's a very young kid, but he's got a lot of talent, and his first start didn't go the way he planned, but it went good for the circumstances with the 1,000 mile per hour wind that he had to pitch in. So,
Right.
um,
Right.
it's still a battle between these two guys. One of them has to win it. Um, but the good news is I've been able to pick up a little bit of the slack, and Tommy's pitched really well too. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
you know, he doesn't have as big of an arsenal as some of us and doesn't throw as hard, but he's been able to get in there and throw strikes when we needed it. So, um, I appreciate that from Tommy. But yeah, I felt pretty good. Obviously still battling. Um, some shoulder pain. I think it's kind of been noticeable the past couple weeks, especially last week, our
Yeah.
game against the Melonheads. Me and Jason both were out there just
Yeah.
dying. The velocity was down quite a bit last week compared to the previous start, but um, the rest coming up will help, hopefully. So
Yeah, hopefully.
you know, I'm still confident in what we got. Um, and I'm confident that Johnny's gonna come in and he's gonna be a big time pitcher for us, and Sam's gonna bounce back. So, um, hopefully
Okay.
we don't have to rely on myself too much to get all the wins, but I definitely think they can sneak some out for sure. Um, but the
Gotcha.
the good news for us too, though, is I really love where our lineup is at. Um,
Correct.
Ethan and Tommy are carrying us offensively. Uh, Jake is doing a fantastic job as well. Might
Right.
not show up when you look at his 111 average, but he has a ton of walks and he has a 529 on base percentage. So Jake getting
Yeah.
on in front of us has been, I guess, really behind us, but with us coming up in the lineup, uh, has been huge. And um, Tommy has had a lot of really clutch hits, clutch home runs, as well as
Yep.
Ethan. And both of those guys are really picking up the slack because I've been dropping the ball. Um, yeah, I don't know. I was not seeing the ball well at all. I actually uh, was home one day. It was like 2 days before our series against the Melonheads, and I was like, my wife was gone at the dentist, and I said, I had the baby, and I was like, all right, I'm putting her down for a nap. And as soon as I put her down, I ran and put up the pitching machine in the garage, and I took like 100 swings. And
There you
like
go.
as I came back inside, I'm not even done like cooling off. I'm still sweating. The baby wakes up. I was like that.
No,
I was like, hey, I needed to get the swings in, and
that's
then
right.
man, I felt a lot more comfortable after that. And
Yeah.
hopefully that continues. I don't know how, like, it's tough to get that time to get away and do that, but um if I can do that and I can, you know, stop swinging at everything and really getting back to, what I've been the past couple years, that puts us in a really good position because the rest of my team has been phenomenal. Uh
Yeah.
and yeah, like I said, they're making it hard on me because I don't want to go, you know, we have 6 guys on our roster. I don't want to hit 6 guys. Um, but Johnny's looked really good in his couple of bats,
Yep.
and I want to get him some more swings. But it's tough because Sam's numbers aren't there, but the numbers don't show how good of a bats he's been taking.
Correct.
He's had a lot of balls in play, a lot of foul balls. He's like right on a lot of things. He's had a home run taken away that would have won us a game against the
Oh man.
Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Um, so, um, yeah, they're making it hard on me, but that's a good position to be in as a manager. So,
Hey, who
yeah,
made that
very happy.
catch this last game for you when you almost gave up the under 55? Is it Sam?
It was Sam Gildenhouse,
That
baby.
was a hell of a play, man. I watched
I
that
think
game
I
today.
think it was over the fence.
It was. That was a great play, man. We
Yeah,
owe
it
him a
was.
beer for that.
Yeah, that was awesome because I mean, yeah, you can look at the stats. I haven't given up a run yet, and
I know.
in any other
I know.
situation, I'm probably walking at that one run in there because we had a 7-0 lead.
You
But I
got
was
it.
like, hey, I have
Yeah, I
not
got
given up a
this.
run yet.
It's
I'm gonna throw the
a
56 nutter to Adam here. I'm gonna make him earn it. And I got saved by Sam
you
being
got
so tall out
sick.
there.
Mark it down. That play might come back to mean something later on. I'm
Hey,
telling you.
I mean, I'll take it because that
Yeah.
was awesome. So, very fun. I was like, hey, if I give up one run, I might lose Cy Wiffle anyway with how good some of these pitchers are. So, who cares if it's one or three, right? I'll
One or
just,
three. That's
I'll
what I was
just,
thinking.
I'll
Yeah.
just do it. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, Sam saved me there. So, very appreciative. Hats off to you, Sam. Thanks,
That's what I
baby. All
thought.
right, let's switch over to the Purge.
Okay.
Um, or no, sorry, 3 and 7, 7 points. How are you feeling about the Purge, and what's been your biggest surprise with them so far?
Well, I got crucified in our last podcast because I said the Purge could be 6-1 or 1-6, and I think people didn't really understand what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is this team, man, could be 7-3 or 3-7, and it's because their pitching is freaking phenomenal. They
Yeah,
have one of the best core pitching staffs in the league. But yet it's just like the league has figured them out, has figured out how to hit them and also how to beat them. And I don't know why. They're just 3-7, but they're a great team. And it wouldn't surprise me if they ran the table here and finished 10-7. It could still
yeah.
happen. I don't know. It's weird, man. It's a weird
They
thing.
are. I almost feel like they kind of have a little bit of Mamba vibes.
Yeah,
Is they've lost late in games
right.
in heartbreaking ways, and it showed this past week, top of the fifth inning in a
Yep.
0-0 game when Caleb
Yep.
is or um, Collins
Colin.
pitching lights out,
Yes.
and Mark just got a hold of one. I mean, he pitched a great game. It was a great pitch. I mean,
Correct.
what can he do? There's nothing you can do about that. Uh, a 1.19 ERA as a team, not
Yeah.
too bad.
Not
Um,
bad.
Unfortunately, Caleb has four losses and Colin has three, but that doesn't show. Caleb has a 2.03 ERA and Colin has a 1.59. Like
I know.
that does not add up to seven losses. Uh,
It's incredibly wild to me. And obviously the thing is, well, score runs for your pitchers and all that, but I don't exactly think the Purge are hitting terrible. Every time I look, Brian Hunter's hitting a ball somewhere over the fence or putting it in play. So I don't know. And
yeah, I mean,
Pat
yeah.
Bowman scares the crap out of me, and he's only hitting .062, but I feel like he's hitting it all the time too. It's a very weird
He's
thing,
very
man.
close. Pat's very
Yeah.
close. He's got a great swing. I think just adjusting to the different bat. He's trying to find one that he likes. I think he might have found one that he's comfortable with, that he's looked really
Okay.
good in. Um,
Yeah.
the guy's a hitter, and he'll get there,
Yeah.
no doubt about that.
He almost got Jordan in our
Yeah,
game.
he smoked that foul ball that or no. No, oh
Caught
yeah,
it in center field. Yeah.
that was, I was thinking of last week when he smoked one.
Oh
Uh
yeah.
he hit a hard line drive, but it was foul. Yeah, he'll get there. But obviously this is where the 3-7 comes to play. Is their hitting. When they're hitting, they're winning. When they're not, they're not. And
Right.
they started the season, they had their first win. Colin had a hit, and then right after Brian had a home run. They won them the
Yes.
game. And then in their next game, same thing happened, but they ended up losing the game. But um, that was a wild scoring game against the Mambas. But since then, Brian Hunter and Colin both cooled off. I mean, Brian Hunter finally picked it up in his last game, so maybe that's a
Right.
spark that they need. I will say one thing um, that I do see going forward as a positive for them, even though it didn't work last week. Shortening the lineup. Um, they went
Yeah.
from hitting, six or seven guys to, hey, we're going to hit our top four because we need to win games. And
Yeah.
it didn't pay off. But obviously, facing a guy like Andrew, it's hard.
Right.
It's not
Correct.
easy to even get one run, even with a four-man lineup. So uh, it's tough, but they have the guys to do it. The guys in their lineup are definitely capable. Um,
Yep. Greg Thornton. Tom's
Colin,
been hit. Oh.
Yeah, Tom's been hitting really well. Gray can always
Yeah.
kill anyone at any point.
Yep. At any
Uh,
point.
Caleb, when he comes back, can do the same.
Yeah.
Um, I think one guy that they need to get going though is Colin at the plate.
Yeah.
He started off the season, pretty hot. First two games, two hits, two big hits, two doubles, I think. Uh, and maybe not one double and a single. Um, but if he can get going, that's gonna be huge for this team, especially with Brian Hunter picking it back up and Pat's being right there. I
Yeah.
think just from a couple of videos that I've seen, um, I haven't been able to watch as much as I'd like. I'm constantly just watching the highlights and skimming through a lot of
Right.
games. But a couple of the videos I've seen, that Tom's put out on like TikTok and stuff, I see and a lot of guys in the league, but a lot of guys in the purge too is especially against Andrew that last week, I saw them chasing a lot of pitches that were
Yeah.
spiking into the ground.
Yep.
You ask Josh Rogers, what pitch do I swing at the most? The one that bounces right in front of the plate. uh, I've done that my whole life, so I know how hard it is.
Let me write
Uh,
that down. Let
but
me
if
write
yeah,
that.
right. But you'll notice when I don't swing it, I'm like, hey, I didn't swing at that one.
Oh yeah.
Uh, but if they can eliminate that, and because I think that's kind of their biggest flaw right now is if they can limit their strikeouts, because I'm pretty sure they have the most strikeouts in the league. If they can just limit that and quit chasing those pitches out of the zone and stop wanting, hey, I'm trying to hit a home run so we can win 1-0. I know that's kind of their
Right.
motto is
Right.
bloop and a blast, and they win a game. And
Right.
which can work, but if it doesn't work, it's tough. We saw that in Major League Baseball with the Yankees a couple years ago when they just mashed home run after home run after home run, and then they got in the playoffs
Right.
and they didn't hit any home runs.
Right.
That could bite you. But overall, I don't think you press the panic button on this team right now. Um,
What
you're still in a spot to you're still
what you
in
said?
the playoffs right now. The
Yeah.
Kings are biting on your tail end a little bit, but
Right.
um, you know, they definitely have the guys to bounce back and to get them into the playoffs for sure. Anything else on the purge?
Yeah. Real quick. I'm kind of interested. There's two things I want to say real quick. Purge. I don't know how often they're going to have Caleb back. We got to find out who that second pitcher is going to be. I thought it was going to be Pat, but it
I'm
may be
interested.
somebody else. Yeah, I'm interested in that. But the ascension of Colin Wilkerson as a premier pitcher is occurring before our eyes. And even though he's got two losses and two great games he's
Yeah,
pitched, the kid's pitching really well. I mean, it's
three
something to be.
losses, but
Oh,
that's
three losses. Excuse me. Yeah, I know he lost against the
two
Archers and then
two of
last
them.
week.
Two of those
Yeah,
games were he pitched really really well. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I
I
agree.
mean,
He's been
down
he's
to the
been
wire.
phenomenal. He's been
Yeah,
absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, his three losses and Caleb's four are not justified at all by how well they've pitched. Um,
correct.
just sometimes the way the game goes,
It's the
unfortunately.
way it is.
Um,
Yep.
but yeah, like you said, they could easily rally off the next 7 wins and be 10-7 to end the season. So
It could happen.
it'll be interesting. All right, let's talk about the last team in the stands in this division. It just worked out that I said that. That was not planned. It's the Melonheads.
That's right.
uh 1-4. Obviously, only playing 5 games to this point. They're in the middle of a rain delay in one of their games in the first inning against you guys. Um,
Yep.
we'll pick that up towards the end of the season. But Melonheads, I'll start off with this one.
Okay.
I think they might be in a little bit of trouble,
Okay. Why is that?
and you guys can bring me the hate. I don't care. uh, I think it's noticeable for them. I think they know it, and I think it has a lot to do with their pitching health.
Yeah.
Jason is not 100%. Spencer is not 100% unless they're pulling our legs and they're just lying to everybody. But I don't think that that's the case. Um, I think they're banged up. Those two, and those are the top two arms. Um,
Correct.
that's going to put a lot of weight on Saggio and Jimmy Stout to come in and pitch.
Yes.
Um, and that's tough.
Correct.
Um, obviously Jimmy got in their last game. Um, through an inning, gave up 2 runs. But um, didn't do bad. Looked pretty decent. And
Yes.
I think Jason even said he's like, I thought Spencer was coming in to pitch, and next thing I know, I turned around and Jimmy was out there, and I think it's because Spencer, might I think he was hurting, and I think in a 7-0 game, you're not gonna go waste your arm when it's
No.
not 100%. So, um,
Yeah. I think I heard that. I think I heard that game was going to be Spencer's.
yeah, I
It's a
think
one night
he
game,
was yeah.
and he pulled himself maybe for injury or fatigue or
Yeah.
whatever the reason. But
Yeah, because I wasn't sure either. I was watching them, play catch from when we were hitting balls in the soccer field. Just watching it because I was like, all right, who's gonna start for them? They're both kind of warming up. So I really had no idea until game time, but it wasn't until
right,
after, yeah, that Spencer said, yeah, it wasn't feeling good. So
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't like I said. I know they played Skivvy Wiffle Ball weekend, so I don't know if it's just fatigue or if there's an injury there. I, I the Melonheads being 1-4. We kind of talked a little bit about that at the beginning, and I don't think it's going the way they thought it was going,
yeah.
but or it was going to go, I should say. But 1-4, and I'm with you. I don't see who's coming to save them yet. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but and maybe Adam could be a guy that can get him some
Oh
innings
yeah,
too.
Adam.
We've
Yeah,
seen
Adam
that.
is a guy. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's gonna be tough.
yeah,
Gonna be tough for these
yeah.
guys. If
You,
their pitching isn't healthy. I mean, obviously, if your one and two guy arms go down on any team, any
yeah.
team is gonna struggle. So, um,
You
but I
mentioned
mean,
it.
go ahead.
You mentioned a little bit with Saggio. He was playing in our game that is currently rated delayed. But yeah, Saggio looked actually pretty good on the mound, so it might be the way they go.
Yeah, and he's
And
looked good in the past too. It's just
yeah,
he
Saggio's a
either
good
looks
pitcher.
really good or he looks pretty bad when he walks a lot of
Right.
guys. But
That's
if he
right.
can if he can throw strikes, then he can hang around with anybody too. So interesting to see, what kind of happens there. Unfortunately, we have yet to see Ryan Brown due to all
I know.
the bad weather that is
Oh,
always forecasted on Thursdays. The good news is I don't see any weather for
nope.
tomorrow, so I'm
Finally.
fully expecting Ryan Brown to make his first appearance this year, and maybe that can help,
Good.
this lineup spark them a little bit. He's always been a really good hitter. Um,
Oh yeah.
if
Dude
they
can
have
hit.
if they have him, Bogad, and Jason, doing what they do, and then Adam, and Sashios looked really good this year. And Jimmy, I mean, Jimmy can squeeze out a hit against anybody. Uh,
Absolutely.
he hits me all the time, and you know, um, if their lineup can get him a couple runs, maybe they don't need a lockdown pitcher. Maybe they just need a guy. Hey, I just hold them to
Yeah.
like 1 or 2 runs, and then maybe we can squeak out a couple of wins here and there. So, uh,
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be interesting, especially because Jason was pitching pretty well this year.
Yeah.
So sucks to
Throwing hard.
see if he's not going to be 100% anytime soon, and you don't want to get too far behind in the standings because then it could be hard to catch up. So,
Correct. Let me play out a different scenario where they win two tomorrow though, and they're 3-4. That look changes. It could.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how the Mambas bounce back against them tomorrow. Um, I believe that's who they play, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, yeah, that'll be an interesting series to see who goes on the mound for them. Off early rest. 1 week and you're hurting, so could be tough. But at the same time, back against the wall. We've seen the Melonheads bounce back before, so they could easily do it again. Um, only time will tell. But um,
We'll know after tomorrow. Mama's Melonheads at 6-7, and by the time I get to play my game, I'll either be happy that the Melonheads won because the Mamas lose, or I will be
ah.
happy that our prediction of Melonheads not winning over, I think I said 11 games, will be correct. So
So yeah, it's a good scenario for you. You're happy either way.
win-win.
Um, Personally, I don't really care. I want to see a good game. Obviously, the Mountain in my division, so like I wouldn't be mad if they lost, but at the same time, uh, yeah, it is what it is.
That's right.
So, um, And I'm never rooting for my brother to win games, right? All right. Enough of these standings. Let's get into our fun topic of the night. It is our award watch segment. Here we go. All right, let's wrap up tonight with a little award watch. See how we're doing here halfway through the season. Um, we'll go over our five main awards: Rookie of the Year, Gold Hand, Cy Wiffle, Silver Slugger, and MVP. So this is all basically on-field type of stuff. Obviously, we have Manager of the Year, Character of the Year, those kind of stuff. We'll put those off till later. Uh, let's start with the fresh meat, the
Oh yeah.
rookies. Rookie of the Year. We'll each name. We'll each name at least like one, but maybe we'll talk about three,
Yeah.
like a top three overall. Maybe we'll probably come to a consensus on most of these. But let's start with Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Um, I'll let you start with this one. I think it's a little
Yeah.
it's a softball question here. Who's your number one Rookie of the Year so far?
Be advised, the names have changed. Um, Number one rookie of the year in my mind has got to be the Dominator,
Yeah,
Dominic Citrowski, out of nowhere, second round pick, but has just straight shown up. Quick stats for you: he's 2-0 on the mound with a .56 ERA, but he's hitting 222 as a rookie with four bombs, three of which in one game off good pitching,
yeah.
and 10 RBIs, which is second in the league.
Oh yeah, yeah. Second. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, 13th best average in the league. The Dom Bomb. I mean, yeah, he's what else can you say? I mean, he's electrifying. We talked a little bit about him earlier. Yeah, he's definitely a front runner right now for this award. If he can continue this, it's his award to lose at this point. Uh,
Right.
one guy that I will bring up is Connor Jaso.
Correct.
Um, obviously, Mojo only played one game this past month, and he wasn't here for it. Uh,
Right.
so maybe that's a little bit why. And then he missed their previous two games prior to that. So, him missing, uh, three of their seven games, makes it a little bit tough. But he's definitely a guy that can, if he's here, he's a guy that can, they can easily challenge Dominic for that Rookie of the Year crown, especially uh, if Dom can't keep up with what he's doing.
Correct.
Jaso sure looks like he can keep it up, but the question there is how much will he be on the field and on the mound for the Mojo. Obviously, his bat is pretty good as well. I know he's got a home run, but he's been pretty good as well. Um, any sleepers here for Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, and I agree with you on Connor. He's also 2-0 on the mound. He's batting 231. And he's doing it from both sides of the plate, which is pretty cool. No, I don't think anybody else out here in Mo Wiff is
Yeah,
doing that. So,
no, I'm too
uh,
scared.
right. Yeah, not for me. Yeah, sleepers, right? So I think the guy on your team wearing that Bombers jersey, Ethan Weiner, coming from the East Coast,
Yeah,
showing up and hitting three bombs. He's also hitting 231. And
yep,
as a rookie, I think that's pretty impressive. And I got to throw Jacob Keller in there, hitting 200 with three home runs off really good pitching. Hit some really quality pitching in Mo Wiff. And, he's hit
yeah.
them off Gus, Ryan O'Rear, and Tony Cochran now. So
Yeah,
don't
pretty
sleep
pretty
on
dang
Keller.
good company. Three good guys there to hit bombs off of. Keller is definitely one that I had in mind as a sleeper. He's living up to that second pick. Very, very good season so far with those stats right there. Um, funny that I mean I don't even think about Ethan just because he's on my team, and to me he's not like a wiffle ball rookie, but he is a rookie to our league, to our
Right.
style. So, um,
Right.
but yeah, Ethan is definitely right there, and the home runs that he's hitting are off of good fast pitches. So same
Sure.
as Keller. So yeah, very very impressed with all four of those guys, but really all the rookies. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in our last podcast. The rookies were showing out, and they've continued to do so. Um, some of
For
them have
sure.
taken a small step back, but I mean, obviously, it's a rookie year. Still, overall, great success for all of these guys. And it's only halfway through the season, so you can easily bounce back. So don't. I know a couple guys are like, dang, probably hanging their head a little bit and pressing a little bit too much. I've seen a little bit of that from certain
Yep.
guys. Um,
Yep.
but don't be too hard on yourselves. This is a tough game, and you'll bounce back. You'll do just fine. So just keep at it, and we're here. We're here if you got any questions. We want to help you guys get better. That's for sure. So,
Right on. Right on.
all right. Let's move on to Gold Hands. You are the reigning Gold Hands champion.
That's right.
How's your season been so far this year?
I'm not doing bad. No errors.
Okay.
But there's a person on my team that has taken the title from me on the archers, and that would be the current Jordan Smith
Oh yeah, Jordan
on
had
the
a
watch list. But
had a
what a
really
game he
good one.
had.
I
Woo!
I I haven't been I like on the field. I was like warming up during your guys' games. Like I missed a lot of it, but like I feel like every time I looked over, like he was like on his butt but making plays.
Making plays.
So yeah, I need
Yeah,
to I need to like go check that out because normally I have a list on my notebook right here, and I take like mental like notes, or like not mental notes because they're on paper, but like highlight notes from each game.
okay.
Who's hit a home run? Was it fast pitch? Was it 55 and under? Who made a good defensive play?
Sure.
That way, one, it's easy to go back and find for videos if we want to find them. I don't have to watch the whole games. Like I already have them. That way, one time watch through, and if I need to go back, I know where they're at. So stuff like that. But I haven't gotten to see Jordan's plays this week, but I do know he made quite a few. So that's a good point right there. I do like that. Um,
So, real quick,
but
Jordan Smith is making them from second base area, by the
yeah,
way, which is unconventional for our current, the
yeah,
past history, but he's holding it down. And he's
yeah,
got two pitchers on his team that do give up hits on the right side, but Tony and myself.
yeah.
Jay Rich also is one of those guys when he comes into pitch. So, this could get interesting for Jordan. He just doesn't really have a whole lot of chance when he's pitching himself because he doesn't give a whole lot of hits. Now he's playing with guys that will give up hits to the right side, and I like it. I like what I see.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe we'll talk about this in the off season, but maybe go to a system like Sam does. But I know we probably won't because people don't like doing it and people like switching out. But
Sure.
with Sam's league, you have a left fielder and you have a right fielder. Obviously, only two fielders, but um, you have them in the game and you have to pull them out if you don't want them in the field. Very similar to the baseball style. Obviously, we don't do that. We can kind of plug in whoever you guys want to switch. You can switch. There's no real set positions, but. Yeah, you never know. Maybe that's something we look at in the future for actual positions to get them each an award for each position.
Right
Um,
on.
but as of right now, it's too hard to do. We're only getting one. Um, but yeah, Jordan's off to a great start. Um,
Who else you got?
Tony Saggio has been playing well. I know he's missed a couple games, but I don't, I really haven't looked at like fielding percentage. Um,
You
but
want to know the names?
yeah, go ahead.
Cole Layton, 10 putouts. Jordan Smith, 10 putouts. And surprise, Justin Hall, 10 putouts.
Yeah, I did notice that. He's been very good. Um, but I mean, yeah, from my notes when I'm looking at like the because I do take into account, when I'm voting for gold hands, it's not just how many putouts you have. I mean,
Sure.
obviously that is a qualifier there for me. Um, but are you making tough plays or are
Yep.
you just getting the weak ground balls? Like that was one thing that like Saggio last year, yes, he had more putouts than both of us, but I do recall he had a lot of weak ground balls. So that,
Correct.
obviously inflated that number a little bit. Still had to make the plays and still made tough ones. And
Yep.
he's making the tough ones again this year. Uh Go ahead.
Both Saggio and I had diving plays, which put
Yep.
us back in
Yes.
the money. Yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
exactly. So, Those type of plays, and I know he's already made a couple of good ones. Jimmy Stout's made a couple of good ones on
Heck
that
yeah.
team as well.
Heck yeah.
Um, you mentioned it earlier, Alex Eggert, just that one play.
In my mind, play of the year.
That gives you that brings your name up in those conversations when you have plays like that. Dominic Sikorsky robbed a home run.
Mm,
So if we were talking about outfielders getting in that conversation, he's in there. Um, Jake Wilson's had a couple really good plays. Keller had one. Keller had one of the most. If it wasn't for Eggert, I mean, he might be 1A, 1B plays. He robbed a home run, or maybe it was just short, but he like tumbled into the fence. Uh,
nice.
it was an unbelievable play. It was like it might have been like just off the camera, but it was like you saw him like going into the fence. It was amazing. Um, Sam Skibby, who has been on this award watch in the past. He's made some really good plays on the pitcher's mound this year.
Yes, he has.
Quite a
Yeah.
few like hard hit balls right back up to him that I'm like, oh my God, how did he make that play? Um, so those are a couple guys that are definitely there. Um, there's only been one double play this year.
Who's that guy? He's got a
Yeah,
few in his career.
pretty good. This was
That was
it was the first ever that I believe
that's what I thought.
um
Yeah.
outfield
Tag.
tag up situation, throw them out at the backstop there that we've ever had. I don't think we've ever had a situation. We don't get a lot of
Yeah.
tag plays in general. It's very tough to do with the guy on
Yeah.
third base. Uh, but the fact that it's been done, it felt pretty good that it was me that got to do it.
That's
And it
right.
was, and the thing that sucked about it the most is you can't see it on camera.
Well, that's what I was wondering. If we get a second angle of that, that
Yeah.
would be great.
No, I did go back and look. We didn't have GoPros that week, and
Okay.
made the catch behind like in foul territory past third base, and like at a weird angle to the backstop. I actually had to like throw it and actually curved back into the backstop.
Nice.
Uh, really awesome play. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but it was pretty cool. It took us like 5 minutes to actually find the rule to make sure that it was an out,
Correct.
and not just hold them. Because we've played in other leagues where you have to actually hit the zone, and then or the backstop actually just holds the runner, and the zone gets them out. But
Right.
since it's so hard to do, it's
Ours
we,
is the
we just we
backstop.
use the backstop,
Yeah.
and but yeah, obviously I don't have the amount of putouts yet. I mean, I'm eighth in putouts, only four, but
Right.
I've been pitching a lot, so maybe when uh Johnny and Sam get back out there, I'll get some more chances. So maybe I can climb back into the race again, but we'll see.
Right on. Yeah, both our put out leaders have pitchers that give up hits. So if
Yeah,
you're going by straight putouts, which we don't, I don't either,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they those numbers
To an
could even
extent,
continue to rise. Right.
yeah, to an extent, yeah,
Double.
for sure. But
Yep.
uh, But it'll be fun. I'm sure I want to get like a highlight of all the defensive plays at the end of the year because we've
Me
we've
too.
already we've already had so many, and that's why I'm keeping my notes on when there are good plays. So
For
I'm glad you
sure.
brought up Jordan. So I'll make sure I mark those down so we can get a good montage in at the end of the year.
Love it.
All right. Silver Slugger.
Yeah.
This is a fun one. Um, I'll start with this one.
Okay, good.
I'm looking at Sam Skibby. He is no stranger to the Silver Slugger Award. He was not the first Silver Slugger or the second or the third. He's never been a Silver Slugger. Always always in the conversation.
Right.
Um, but he won the MVP the first year. Cole won Silver Slugger, but I mean,
Oh,
he had
okay.
he had an amazing season there. But what he's doing at the plate right now is phenomenal, and he had another really good week last week. Tied for first in hits.
Yes.
He's got 3 home runs, so one behind the league leader. 15 RBI, which leads the league.
Number one.
And he is, I mean,
Have you seen his walks?
every clutch situation is is coming into play. He has 14 walks, which leads the league. Uh,
Crazy.
so when you take into account the times he's been on base, 21,
Yes,
that's far more than everybody else.
that is correct. His on
uh,
base percentage is wildly ahead.
on base percentage 636. The next highest that actually count is Tony Saggio at 538. Jake's
Yes,
at 529. Quite a few guys over 500, but yeah, Sam Skibby um definitely way ahead of the pack here for a Silver Slugger in my opinion.
yep,
Another guy that you could throw out there is Ryan O'Rear.
yes.
Um, doesn't have the home runs right now. And maybe not the RBI either. He's got, let's see,
Doesn't have the RBIs.
yeah,
He does have the
only
average.
three, but hitting the ball. And obviously Cole Layton too. Um, guy can
Yep,
hit a little bit, I
yep.
think.
Cole
Um,
is third in average, first in tied for first in hits, and tied for second in home runs. So
yeah, yeah. Cole's definitely. I mean, obviously he's won this award before. Um, anybody else that you're looking at here for Silver
yeah,
Slugger?
I think the old Dom Bomb leading in
Oh,
home
duh.
runs,
God, duh.
still hitting
Don
222 in
Bomb.
average. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can't take out those the four home runs and the 10 RBIs. I mean, that's big.
it's huge.
Yeah. Love that. And is it surprising to you at all that Jordan has still having a good season, but
Correct.
not the season he's had, last year? Is that surprising at all? Or what do you kind of
Um,
feel there?
Yeah, I don't know. I looked at that. So me and Jordan are we're not out of it, right? I mean,
No,
me
no,
both
no.
both of us are in it, but we faced some really good pitching. And so
Yeah.
I think that story's to be written. And I don't think we're gonna face any less pitching throughout the year. So I
So
think
are
people
you
bring
saying
out their
that
guns.
Are you saying that last year you guys didn't face any good pitching and that's why he won?
No. Yeah, I think it would be hard to argue because so many archers
Yeah.
hit well. I think
Yeah.
if all
Oh
of
yeah, I
us
know.
other archers would have hit crappy, then that would make Jordan even look better because so many archers hit well. It was hard to say that well we
Yeah.
deserved it or Jordan deserved
Oh,
it.
I
But
know, I
no,
agree.
Jordan before we move from this topic carries in an insane hit streak right
It's
now.
ridiculous.
And so I think that needs to be mentioned in this time because what he's doing is wild. It's currently a 21 game hit streak.
Is that including playoffs or is that just regular
No,
season?
playoffs we don't talk about.
Okay. So I'm gonna mark that down because that's
Yeah, it's a
it's pretty
regular
impressive.
season.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I mean, and he's also he's got two home runs this year. Only four RBI, which is insane to think about. Only three walks. Uh, but still on base 33.3% of the time. Um, 250 average. I mean, still right there. I mean, and like you said yourself, you're hitting the ball really well, especially,
Making contact.
The game you had against Caleb, definitely made some noise. Those are games that stand out when you hit good pitching like that.
Right.
When it comes down to a close race at the end, that can give you a little nudge on, hey, this is who I had to hit against. What did
Right
everybody
on.
else do? So, yeah, very close race, but a lot of guys are there. It's been a fun season so far. To
Oh yeah.
watch guys at the plate. Um, you know, another guy you can look at, Nick Bone,
Correct.
because he's tied in hits. He's hitting home runs. He's really doing it all for that Kings team. Um, so can't count him out. Man, he's been impressive. I'd say I mean, it does hurt that he's gone from our team. Uh,
Right, right. For
luckily, I've had
sure.
two guys pick up the slack. Uh, pick up what he is doing over there. So, um, I can't be too mad, but yeah, Nick Bone definitely a guy that you got to give a shout out to. Um, Keller, putting his foot in the door, like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm just peeking in here, seeing what I
Just
can do.
proud. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Possible.
yeah, so not too bad at all. Um, yeah, not too bad. quite a few guys that are up there. I think still a lot of season left, so
Yeah.
we can see what happens, but no,
I
not too
mean,
bad.
to be honest with you, Cam, we got guys that are hitting 350, Cole, 368, Sam, Ryan over 389. And you have guys that are hitting zero. So, and you have guys with one hit. So, here's the thing. That's pretty good. And I think they deserve some recognition to be able to hit in the 300s when you have the dominant pitching that we have in
Yeah.
Mo Wiff now.
Yeah, you have guys hitting like 154. The guy sucks. That's me, by the
That's you. Yeah,
way.
I
I suck.
figured.
Isn't that how you started last year? I mean,
I
maybe it was
was
just the home runs last year. That's
I
right.
did not hit any home runs
That's
until
right.
later in the year. Correct.
I
Yeah.
finally got my first one. It was a
Me and
cheap one.
Jason.
It was a cheap one, 56 and under. But I'll take it.
We'll take it.
I'm
We'll,
on the board.
we'll take
That
it.
was my first. I had my first three RBIs in our eighth game. Ugh,
Ugh,
that's
that's right.
gross.
It's how you finish, though.
This manager should contemplate what he's doing. All right, let's talk about Cy Wiffle, one of my favorite awards, obviously, because I'm a pitcher. Um, this award has been dominated the past two seasons by Jordan Smith.
Correct.
Um, and surprise, surprise, he's given up 0 runs.
Right.
He had a
But
zero
there's
ERA.
an there's another guy who's given up 0 runs and he's got 4 wins who's leading the pack. I'm
Bangarang.
talking to him right now. So you're on pace, man. This is potential. High
You know,
potential.
Jordan has taken my award away from me for 2 years, trying to
The
get it
Cam Wiffle.
back. Yeah, right. Um, no, I'm just trying to get my team to win. Obviously, it'd be great to get the award back. That's not the end goal. The end goal is to win the championship again.
Right on.
But it is nice. I like where I'm at right now. Um, I feel like even though my velocity isn't there every game, um, I've kind of found ways to work through and
Huge.
around it and kind of mix everything in and everything's really just been working for me so far lately. So hopefully that can continue and I can stay in this conversation because it's been fun. I like winning awards. I don't think anyone does.
Heck yeah.
So
Absolutely.
especially this award, everyone know it was the talk was, when we started this league was, we didn't want Cam is the best pitcher, but we don't want him to stack up. And the past 2 years, I have not been the best pitcher. Jordan has been the best pitcher, and he's still doing it. Um,
That's right.
Obviously, I think the thing is going to be how many games does he pitch? Um, Very similar to like Jackson last year, where Jackson was probably the best pitcher in the games that he pitched last year, but just didn't have the amount of innings to get him that award last year. Because it was a closer race last year with a couple guys giving up multiple runs. So
Right.
Jackson just only had the 5 starts. I see Jordan probably throwing more than 5 games, but you never know. If you guys don't need it, you don't need it. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Well,
that'll be interesting. Is there anyone else that you want to bring up here for the side with? I got a couple, but I'll let you go.
yeah, for sure. But I do want to point out Jordan Smith is 1-0. He's given up no runs in 10 innings, but I don't feel like it's kind of fair that he's 1-0. He should have been 2-0. We did win that game, but I understand why he's only 1-0 because it was a home run derby. So
Yep.
technically, Jordan Smith
Yeah.
still on your heels. Don't
Yeah.
forget about him.
I
The
mean,
Connor Jaso.
that I mean, I could easily if we scored if Sam uh Gildehouse's home run did not get robbed against the Thunderbirds, I would be 5-0 right now.
Ooh, good stat.
Instead we went to a home run
Ooh,
derby.
that's right. I forgot about it. Ooh,
So
so it works both
yeah,
ways.
I pitched in 5 games and given up
Yeah, the sword cuts both ways then.
0 runs. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Connor Jaso
Connor
also
Jaso,
has
yeah.
given up no runs, also has given up no hits. So,
Correct. Only seven
uh,
innings though. That's why you
yeah, that's
didn't see
right.
him. That's why you didn't see him on the league leaders board there.
Correct.
Minimum 8 innings pitch. Obviously, this late in the season, midway through, I gotta start making a minimum. of qualifying stats uh, because you could easily throw a couple innings and have zero earned runs, and you're gonna see a lot of
Right.
guys' names up there who only have thrown like one inning. Obviously, he's right there at seven. There you go. But he's yeah, he's dominant. He's the guy that can easily win this award. Um, and could be tough competition for me, for Jordan, for anybody. It just
Yeah.
depends on how much he gets out there. Same as Jordan. If he's out there for an extended period of time this season, he could easily do it, especially allowing zero hits so far. I mean, that's impressive. And I've seen him pitch in other places this year already, and against guys that have been playing this game for a lot longer than a lot of us, and they're not getting hits off of him either. So,
Correct.
um, yeah, he's definitely a guy that's up there. Um, Another guy, I mean, it sucks that Caleb and Colin are kind of out of this category, this um, award as of right now. Obviously,
Right.
things can change if we start if the rest of us start losing games. Um, but with their 3 and 4 losses, that kind of stuff. But they've had really good seasons. If it wasn't for that win-loss record, I think they'd be up higher on this list.
Right.
Um, Andrew Nichols, another guy. That has pitched very, very well. Only giving up 3 runs. The 2 losses hurt,
That hurts.
but he is fourth in ERA. His ERA is
Right.
under one. It's six
Right.
0.64. So like that's very good. Dom, surprise,
Old
surprise.
Dom.
You're hearing Dom's name again.
That's right.
0.56. So and his stuff is
One
sneaky,
run.
man. His stuff is
Yeah.
sneaky. It's I, even facing it, obviously, that game kind of got away from us, with the walks and everything else. So it wasn't like a close game. Um, but I thought I was really prepared to see him because like I've seen kind of um clean ball pitching before, but he was mixing it up with the cut ball very
Yeah, he
well.
does.
The walks just kind of got to him. That's where he gave up that 1 run. And we took advantage. We had bases loaded, and he walked a guy, and we took the walk to score 1 run in a blowout game, just so we could say we weren't shut out.
Right. I do remember
Sorry,
that.
Dom. Um,
Yeah.
but um, but yeah, I mean, his stuff has been very, very sneaky, and you don't think it's going to be that fast, and it is fast, and it's got late movement, and he's got a funky delivery at
I
times
know.
where he's like he'll stop and
Off
little
balance.
Nestor Cortez. I like it.
Yep.
And he still generates power off of it, which is awesome for him. So um
Yeah.
it depends on how many he can start too. So
He plays like a cagey vet just watching him out there. I
yeah.
mean, he's obviously got experience in this
Yep.
realm of keeping people off balance and throwing pitches that you don't think he's going to bring, and he throws them for strikes, which is the name of the game.
Yep.
Uh,
Absolutely. So
we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Ryan O'Rear at 3-0, even though we mentioned his ERA. He is
yeah,
3-0,
it's true.
and
He is 3-0. We talk. I mean, if the win-loss record is going to be bad for you, it's got to be good for you at the
that's
same
correct.
time. So,
That is correct.
absolutely. But like I said, it goes both ways. Caleb and Colin have a low ERA and a bad win-loss record, and it's the
Right.
opposite for Ryan O'Rear. So I kind of put them in that same basket. Um, right there with Colin, Caleb, and Ryan O'Rear. Another guy like also James Dutton in that category.
Yep.
Obviously he's had a rocky, uh, you know, maybe his last 2 starts. The game
Yeah.
against the Kings in this previous game, um, you know, not bad. But I mean, Tony Cochran's having a good season as well. If he didn't give up that three-run homer, this looks a whole lot different. Um,
Correct.
so he's been
In,
pitching well. But
inside info was Tony was really wanting this award, and I wouldn't count him out yet,
ooh,
but
okay, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
he's still
he was
there.
definitely in the mix.
Yeah, he's sixth in ERA right now. 2-1 record on the mound, and yeah, I mean, like I said, not bad at all. 4 runs. I mean, you need a couple guys to mess up a little bit, but you can easily do it. So it's right
Right.
there. All right, let's talk about everybody's favorite award, the Jordan Smith Award.
That's right.
It's the MVP. Um, Obviously he's won it the last 2 years. Sam Skibby won it the first year. Um, what do you think? You think Sam Skibby wants it back?
He's going to make a run for it. He's at the top of my list currently, besides
Yeah,
Jordan.
yeah. I kind of have two main guys here that are doing it all, that are kind of one and two in my book right now. And one is Sam Skibby. Obviously, he's a 1.79 ERA.
Yep,
And
correct.
he's pitching good games against or for the Mojo. Um, I think he's 2-1 on the mound this year. Um, but he's stepping in when they need to. They need a guy on the mound, and he's playing great in the field, and he is just clobbering at the plate.
At the
And
plate.
that's big. It's exactly what the Mojo need. And yeah, I think Sam Skibby right now is at the top of my list. And I know Doug will, as the season kind of keeps going on, if Sam keeps going like this, you're gonna hear a lot of it from Doug. We heard a lot of it from year one, and and rightfully so, because Sam's that guy.
Yeah.
My second guy though, we've said his name 1,000 times tonight. It's Dom Bomb, baby. I
Oh,
mean, uh,
in the talks.
not only rookie of the year conversation, but yeah, I think you're crazy to not have him in the conversation right now. We're going into week 9 in the MVP talk, because he's up there in all the hitting categories. He's up there in all the pitching categories, and he's having so much fun with it. He's got to be one of the most talked about guys in the league right now.
Sure.
Um,
No doubt.
and I don't, I mean, I know we've beat beat the drum quite a bit tonight, but Dom is having a phenomenal start to his rookie season, and I'm just excited to see where it can go for the rest of the way.
Absolutely. I have a couple names to add to the
Yeah,
to the list. Number one is O'Rear because he is 3-0 and he's
bang.
first in
Yep,
average
yeah.
and he
That's
tied
a
for
big
first.
name right now. That's
Right.
and he's a guy that can go off too, and especially at the plate. Uh, the power numbers aren't there. They're not there yet.
Right,
uh,
exactly. Yeah, he's proven he can hit bombs at
Yeah,
will.
right. And a great stat here. This is, I'm glad you brought his name up because, yeah, he's 3-0 on the mound, and yeah, he has the highest average in the league. But one of the biggest factors, when you dive into the details of it, is we talked about it. The front runner for Cy Young right now is me. He was 3 for 3 off of me. I mean,
Oh,
there were three singles, but
and
he
the
was
moonwalk. Woo,
in the moonwalk. You
woo.
got to hit
Yep,
that. But yeah, so very impressive. Start to run a rear season. Uh, Easily. Yeah, I probably put him in that top three category. Right
sure.
now for sure, because he's doing it all.
Two more names.
Yep.
The Smith brothers, even though not real brothers. Cam Smith,
Oh
Jordan
hey,
Smith.
what's up?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Here's
don't
the thing.
even. I mean, yeah, because the pitching's been there, and if you're having that dominant of a season, I get it.
You got it. MVP always turns into who's the most well-rounded player. It happens every
Yeah.
year in every league. Um, Jordan Smith, arguably most well-rounded player. Sam Skibby, right? So here's the thing: Cam Smith, you are a well-rounded player, but if your team only wins when you pitch, that would be a great argument to say, "Hey, I perhaps am the most valuable player to my team." Jordan Smith, my goal has been to not make him the most valuable player to our
There
team.
you go.
Let's get him some supporting cast. But
Yeah.
both of you guys have unique situations that could bear out. We're only halfway through ish, and so we're keeping an eye on Smith and Company too.
Bang.
So
Love that you said it. I'm gonna make a prediction right now. I
okay,
keep going. This is all BS. This would be funny. Uh, Keep going on this pitching pitching stretch that I'm on. Uh, and I finished second in MVP again. Hey, let's go. Let's
once
go.
again,
Let's go 4 for 4 in second place MVP finishes. Right.
right?
As much as I want that belt, because it's awesome. I'm a big wrestling fan, and it would be awesome. And Jordan could care less because he just wants a championship. Uh, yeah, no, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want it, but in the past, this is kind of how it's really happened all 3 seasons is I have a very slow start to the season at the plate, and then I pick it up in the second half. Hopefully, I can do that again. Um, I think that this might be the worst I've been struggling at the plates this late in the season, so it could be a little bit harder to gain some ground, especially on guys like Ryan O'Rear and the way Dom's playing, and for sure Sam. So, um, but hey, if you're really really dominant in one of these, categories,
Exactly.
that does give you a little edge and a little boost. And I just have to come around and start hitting the ball because I have not. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's most valuable player. So if you
yep,
remove this person from a team, what happens? And you get a couple timely home runs, you're right in that argument. Sam Skibby is hard to argue against because I think if you take Sam Skibby out of last week's game, Mojo, there's no doubt. I mean, he hits the
yeah,
triple, he gets on base, and he pitches well. So
yep,
it's going to be an interesting race here at the end, man. Like I
absolutely,
said, halfway through, it's still anybody can come up and grab it.
absolutely. All right, that's gonna do it for our May recap. Um, and we still got a lot of wiffle ball left, but 2 months down, and it's been a fun one so far. So if you haven't been following along, make sure you do. But if you have been, keep following us because we're
Keep it
growing.
going.
We have a big event coming up on August 10th, our MO WIFF Classic at uh, Chesterfield Field, presented by InkSpot. Registration is now open, so make sure you go and register with your team. Minimum of 3 players. $125 registration fee this year, so a little bit higher than years past, but um, you're playing in a lot nicer venue than we could ever dreamed of. Um, and there's gonna be cash prize for the winner. So
Perfect.
that'll be fun. Minimum of 3 games. It'll be a good time. So a lot of guys already coming out. We've had a couple teams sign up already. So if you haven't, make sure you're talking to your guys and start getting your teams together. And
Yeah.
we'll have a great day with football for sure.
And if you're thinking about joining Mo Whiff, this is a great chance to come out and show us what you got, man.
Perfect time. This is what we want. So if you know guys that are interested in the league, make sure you reach out to them and make sure they are here. So uh yeah, love it. Anything else, Roy?
No, man, I'm just ready to play in June and July. I can't wait. This has been a great season so far, and I'm having a blast, man.
Absolutely, man. Can't wait. See you all tonight at Catch 22 America Field for the start of our month of June. And for Cam Smith and Roy Rank, we're out.